Malaysia's constitutional government shapes politics. It governs the separation of authorities and government operation. The king appoints the prime minister and dissolves parliament. It keeps the government running, and the queen, who represents Malaysia's history and culture, unites people. However, the government democracy system lets elected officials represent the people and facilitates legislation. The constitutional monarchy also affects public policy participation. It does this by encouraging people to participate in democracy and public policy to address population needs. Malaysian financial regulatory institutions have also been shaped by political regime dynamics and market building efforts, reflecting economics and politics.
Historical context on the election process. First, elections in Malaysia are fundamental for democratic expression and political representation. Next, federal elections are for the Dewan Rakyat, which is the lower house of the parliament. Third, state level elections are for the state legislative assemblies. Next, there are two levels of elections, which is the federal and the state. Next, the constitution mandates general elections once every 5 years. Lastly, the executive branch heads are usually indirectly elected. Next, the electoral system. Malaysia has a two-level electoral system, which is the federal and the state. Next, the Prime Minister and Chief Ministers are usually indirectly elected from the majority party. Thirdly, the Election Commission of Malaysia, which is the SPR, oversees the electoral process. Nomination day allows candidates to file papers, and if only one candidate is nominated, they are declared elected. Next, the campaign period leads up to polling day, where voters cast their votes. Lastly, the candidate with the most votes becomes the new MP.
In Malaysian politics, nomination criteria might change depending on the role and internal policies of the political party. Nonetheless, the following are some general prerequisites and factors to be taken into account for nomination in Malaysia's political system. First, party membership. Malaysian political candidates must be members of a party. Second, eligibility constraints. National law requires candidates to meet qualifying requirements, including citizenship, age limits, and other legal requirements for government positions. Third, party rule compliance. Candidates must follow the party's rules, nomination procedures, and ethics. Fourth, gaining support and endorsements. Building party support and gaining endorsements from other stakeholders may increase an individual's nomination prospects. Lastly, dedication and skills. Candidates must show devotion to public service, policy knowledge, and ability to represent the party and people. How to know if we are eligible for vote? Well, we must understand the eligibility requirements as the first step in voter registration. Citizenship is required to vote in Malaysia. Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara must verify citizenship and age, acting according to IC. The voter must live in the region they want to vote in and not be disqualified by law. How about registration process? Well, after the Undi 18 Bill grants all 18-year-old Malaysians voting rights, the electoral register will be updated with eligible voters. You no longer need to register at mobile stations or election commission headquarters. Without registration since January 14, Malaysians 18 or older by December 31st, 2021 will be automatically enrolled in the electoral register. Individuals turning 18 this year will be added to the roster 1 to 6 weeks after their birthday. The roll will be updated monthly, not quarterly.
Next, we'll talk about the voting process, which is a step-by-step procedure that has been released by the Malaysia's Election Commission on what to do on the voting day. The first step is the voters walk into the voting station and head towards the first voting card. Second, after reading the voter's NRIC, the second voting card will dip one of the voter's index fingers in an indelible ink. Then, a third voting clerk will give the voters the ballot papers. Then, the voters need to proceed to the next level and surrender the smartphone to the security. And then, before casting the vote, the voters need to proceed to the polling place and confirm that the ballot papers is in a good condition. After confirming that the ballot papers is in a good condition, the voters need to put the ballot papers in the right box, which is the ballot box. Last but not least, the voters can retrieve their mobile phone at the counter and leave the voting station in. There are also two other types of voting. The first one is advance voting. It is only for the people who are allowed to vote early. This type of vote is only eligible for the members of the Royal Malaysia Police PRM and spouse, military officers and spouse, and the members of the General Operation Force and spouse. The second type of voting is the postal voting. This is a mailing of ballots to the voters that is residing abroad or not in Malaysia. This type of vote is only eligible for any Malaysian that is residing abroad, any election commission employees poll workers, and any police officers or soldiers that are not eligible for advance voting. Furthermore, there's also live updates on news stations. On voting days, television's news stations such as Extra Awani and many more have been very committed on doing live updates on current situation at certain voting stations. They also did live updates on the book for each voting area in every state.
The campaign process that political parties did. There are many methods that political parties do during campaign, but these are the most used method they use. First, media impact. Political parties use the media to spread their messages. Parties spread their beliefs, policies, and goals via television, social media, radio, and online publications. They carefully use the media to improve their image, sway voters, and gain support. Next, door-to-door. Party activists visit people's homes via door-to-door canvassing. This method helps parties engage with voters, learn their issues, and express their ideas. Door-to-door canvassing fosters genuine interactions and community trust. Lastly, rallies and public events. Candidates use rallies and public events to interact with supporters, spread their messages, and gain momentum. From small town hall meetings to big rallies, politicians may speak, answer questions, and demonstrate their visions, policies, and leadership. During 15th general election, political candidates hired several account-based influencers to tweet and retweet tweets that supported them and inflated the volume of chatter about their campaigns. Many voters will come across these tweets without knowing if the tweets that reached their timelines reflected genuine support for the candidates or were paid advertisements.
Transparency of election result. The transparency of election process, particularly the counting of votes and the announcement of result. It is crucial to maintaining the trust and confidence of the electorate. Transparency International Malaysia is a place to announce the election result of its annual general meeting AGM 2021 that held on 16 October 2021. The recent election result and the emphasis the transparency in the voting process underscore the importance of upholding democratic principles in Malaysia. Re-election of the key figure within Transparency International Malaysia reflect a commitment to maintain integrity and trust in the democratic system. As a diverse nation with a rich democratic history, Malaysia recognizes that transparency at every stage of the electoral process is vital for citizen representation and participation. Next, post-election procedure. There are 4 procedures that highlighted in this video. First, counting and tabulation of votes. The fundamental post-election step, it involves manual counting or electronic tabulation, with transparency maintained with party representative and observed. Next, verification of result. It is crucial to compare reported result with actual ballots and identify and rectify the discrepancies. The recounts are possible in close context. Next, audit of election result. It enhances transparency and accountability, thus it also involves thorough examination of a ballot sample. It boosts public confidence and addresses concern about fraud. And the last one is challenge to election result. The Malaysia faces challenges like gerrymandering and it's concerned about fairness of electoral boundaries. It's also the specific post-election that procedure vary, but principle of transparency, accuracy and
Malaysia's political structure is shaped by both parliamentary democracy and constitutional monarchy. Voting for the candidates who are reputable, honest, and capable of doing their work is a one way for the public to participate in an election. As a responsible citizen, we need to choose the best government to conduct our country by voting and making our voices heard as a show of appreciation the guarantee of our rights under the Federal Constitution. All in all, both government and citizens should carry out their responsibilities in a maximum way for the better future of Malaysia. That's all from us. Thank you.